Good evening, Yorktown. My name is Yorktown Supervisor Matt Slater. Here tonight, joined by our two Westchester County legislators. We have Colin Smith of Legislative District 1, which is the north side of town, and Vidat Ghashi of Legislative District 4, which is the southern part of Yorktown. As I've said many times, when we have verified information and accurate information, I want to bring it to you, the public. Earlier today, we had another municipal conference call with our partners in county government. And I also want to recognize, of course, the leadership of County Executive George Latimer. Here in Westchester, just to give everyone a brief update, we have 10 new cases, bringing the total to 158. We have 5 that have been hospitalized. Now, having said that, I also want to emphasize that for the first time, we have a number of tests which were completed at 1,200. And so if you do the math, we're still looking at that 80-20 split. And we want to remind everyone that 80% of cases, 80% of people who may come into contact with the coronavirus are either not going to feel the effects, the symptoms, or they're going to self-resolve. One of the things that we've discussed in the past, and I mentioned it earlier this morning during our emergency town board meeting, which I will touch on shortly, is a bit of a barrier, an information barrier between the state, the county, and the local government. I want to remind everyone that local government here in Yorktown, we are not performing any of the tests. We don't organize the tests for COVID-19. That's being done by the Department of Health, coordinated by the county and the state. However, we do have some good news to share, which is that through working with our partners in government on the county level, we now have documentation which is going to allow us, meaning the town and our police department, to receive daily updates of any potential confirmed cases in Yorktown. And I want to thank again our partners on the county level for making this happen. We're going to be, the county is creating a secure portal that we're going to be able to receive that information. And I have been asking for this since they first announced it, and I'm going to sign it immediately right here. And this hopefully is going to be in place rather quickly, and that will allow us to share more, again, verified and accurate information with you, the public. For those following the news, there is a mobile testing site in the city of New Rochelle. We want to emphasize the fact that you can't just show up. You have to call, and there's a number. It's the State Department. The Department of Health's number. It's 888-364-3065. I will state it again, and hopefully, Tom, you can add that to the screen. 888-364-3065. This is where you're going to be able to hear the next steps if you feel that you have come into contact or showing symptoms of COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, but it will also allow you to make an appointment for the mobile testing site, again, located in New Rochelle. Again, right now it is Friday the 13th, about 7:15 p.m. We also want to share that the Lakeland and Yorktown Central School Districts are going to be closed this coming Monday and Tuesday, as well as Ossining schools will be closed on Monday. Quickly, I just want to recap what transpired here in Yorktown today. We had an emergency town board meeting earlier this morning, and the town board passed a unanimous resolution authorizing me to sign an emergency declaration. And so a lot of people received notification through social media, through our Nixle program, and I want to thank our police department for their assistance in that. But there are still some clarifying questions that we received. So I want to be clear. Yorktown is, in fact, under a state of emergency, and that is to allow town government to make the necessary decisions and implement the necessary policies should we need to. This is simply precautionary. We're taking it very seriously, but this is a precautionary matter. No roads are closed. You're allowed to drive your car. You're allowed to go to the store. You're allowed to live your life. But reality here is things are happening very quickly. It is very fluid. And as we see numbers continue to rise, government needs to be able to take whatever steps we need to protect the public. And so the town board unanimously passed that resolution this morning, and we have since declared a state of emergency. There have been other municipalities who followed suit. Our friends over in Cortland, our neighbors in Cortland, I believe Bedford, and several other municipalities have done so as well. I want to emphasize our continued support for social distancing practices. I also want to remind everyone, especially our small business owners, that the state and Governor Cuomo has put down an executive order limiting public places to 50% of your total occupancy. Important to note, this does not apply to retail spaces or grocery stores. I also want to reemphasize again that we have not been notified of any positive cases within our schools, something else that we've heard questions about. Here in town government, we've taken steps that I want to reemphasize as well. We have sanitizing stations. We've purchased and installed nearly 36 sanitizing stations in our town buildings. Our cleaning protocols continue. We are cleaning 4 times a day for doorknobs, light switches, and handrails, as well as a morning and an evening deep clean. Our nutrition center remains closed, but we are continuing to provide services through our Meals on Wheels program. The library capacity remains limited at 30 people at any one time, 30 patrons at any one time, and it will be closed this Sunday. Home inspections have also been canceled. All public hearings, and not just public hearings now, but the town board also canceled all town board and town-related meetings for the month of March. Lastly, I want to emphasize one more time how proud I am of this community and of our government and our partners in government. We have done a phenomenal job considering how unprecedented this situation truly is. This is, and Highway Superintendent Paganelli was here this morning, this is not a snowstorm. This is something many of us have never seen and many of us have never experienced. This is a level of adversity, like I said earlier, that's challenging us. But I know Yorktown, and Yorktown always leads from the front. And that's exactly what we will continue to do here in Town Hall. And so having said that, again, I want to reemphasize when we have verified and accurate information, we will share it to you, the public, as we have tonight. And at this point, I want to see if either Legislator Smith or Legislator Gashi, if you want to share some words as well. Sir?
You can go first. Well, thank you, Supervisor Slater, for your leadership in this, your leadership in general, but in particular over the last several weeks as both state, local, and county officials, we've tried to really get a handle of the COVID-19, otherwise known as the novel coronavirus outbreak that has hit our county harder than practically any other place in the country, and so it's leadership like that we're going to need moving forward, and I'm proud to be a part of this team that has been leading this charge. I want to just also say, extend a thank you and recognize the tireless efforts of the county executive and his staff down in White Plains. They have been working day and night to get a handle on things, to get information, to get that information parsed out to the municipalities, to liaison with the state, and to coordinate the many efforts that need to be coordinated under the circumstances that we're in. I just also want to reiterate a couple of things or highlight a couple of things that Supervisor Slater had remarked on. Today, the governor, whose leadership I also want to acknowledge, Governor Cuomo and his team have done a fantastic job in dealing with this crisis. And one of the fruits of that came today when they were able to open their first mobile testing station in New Rochelle. Supervisor Slater mentioned that. I just want to reiterate that that information by reading a statement that was put out by the mayor of New Rochelle, Noam Branson, earlier today, basically stating that New York State has established the coronavirus testing center at Glen Island in New Rochelle, which will increase testing capacity for our city and region. Testing requests are still prioritized according to state protocols, which means, and what that means is that you cannot simply show up for testing without prior approval. If you do, you will be turned away. That's important to know because there have been instances that we've been made aware of where people have showed up without prior approval and unfortunately were turned away. In order to see if you qualify for the testing, contact either your doctor or, better yet, call the state hotline at 888-364-3065. I believe that according to the governor's statement earlier today, this mobile location has the capacity to do up to 200 tests per day. They have approximately 6 lanes, which you drive. It's literally a drive-up testing site. You drive up, and then they take it from there. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but the testing is all done in a very safe, secure, sanitary way. And from what I understand, the approximate time from start to finish per individual is about 10 to 15 minutes to do the entire test. So this is great news for us. We've been needing to ramp up the testing here, as is many people have been concerned about, and many of our constituents have asked us about. But this is just a start, and there will be more testing sites opening up as we move forward, which will give us the information we need to truly get out in front of this thing. Again, thanks to Supervisor Slater for putting this together. It's important that we get out timely information, relevant information, and most importantly, accurate information, right, so that that you and everyone else have the ability to make proper decisions moving forward through this. And I just want to, last thing I'll say, as I want to just recognize in particular our first responders who are on the front lines with this issue. That's our police, our fire, our EMS, our 911 operators, but also our healthcare practitioners, our nurses, the cleaning staffs at hospitals and healthcare facilities. Thank you all, because you are putting yourselves above, you're putting the good of the public above and beyond your own to ensure the good of the public, and we can't thank you enough for that, and we laud that, but we also support that. And just, as we continue to move forward, we will continue to provide you with as much detail, as information and updates as regularly as possible. And just everyone, as you've been hearing so much nowadays, but we can't emphasize enough the importance of washing your hands, right, basic hygiene, and keeping your distance, in particular when you're out in public. Even if you are a younger or healthy individual who may not necessarily be at risk or worry as much about possible exposure, we all know somebody who is, whether it's our parents, whether it's our family friends, someone who's elderly, someone with underlying medical conditions. And even if you yourself may not be concerned with being at risk for infection, you don't want to give it to somebody else. So please be careful when you're out there. Follow the guidelines. There's a ton of information on the State Department of Health website, on the CDC website, and if you go to the westchester.gov website, you will get information. I think I said that. Is Westchester,
that the,
yeah. Westchester.gov. westchester.gov. We'll get the right website up for you.
WestchesterGov.com.
westchestergov.com. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a lot of information on that website as well. So stay safe, everyone, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Smith. Legislator Gashi, you want to say a few words?
Sure. I'd like to reiterate Legislator Smith and congratulate. I think, frankly, all levels of government here, from the governor to the county executive, George Latimer, and town supervisor Slater, and all the town supervisors. This is a public health emergency, and it's important that we all work together. We're all pulling in the same direction. I think that's clear here today, but in general, throughout this process, we've been doing that. One of the ways we're doing that is in the document that was just signed by Supervisor Slater. That's an effort by the town to reconcile HIPAA privacy considerations with the health and well-being of our first responders, so that our first responders know that when they go to a place that that they can take the necessary precautions and avoid unnecessary exposure. I think it's a very fluid situation. There's a lot of uncertainty still, but what we do know is that we have cases in our communities. We would hope to be able to test as many as possible. We've only tested 1,200 thereabouts so far. Many more are necessary, and we're doing our best to make sure those tests are necessary or obtained and undertaken. I think perhaps more important in a moment like this is understanding that while we do have the need to test, we understanding that we already have exposure in our communities, the social distancing component of this is probably the most important part of it right now. It's already in our communities, and that distancing is going to be that vital factor in us containing the damage. So I'm eager to continue the work and be in constant contact. We're having regular calls at the leadership of County Executive Latimer, and it's all hands on deck, and I look forward to continuing that. Thank you again, Supervisor Slade, for the opportunity to say something.
Appreciate it. So just to recap a few highlights of what we've been discussing here. With the leadership of County Executive Latimer, as well as Legislator Smith, Legislator Gashi, we have signed the necessary documentation to create a secure portal to get daily updates on any confirmed cases in our community. I do want to reemphasize, today we have not received any notification of new cases. So we have one confirmed case from the town of Yorktown and one confirmed case from the town of Lakeland pertaining to potentially an impact on the Lakeland School District. We do not have those protocols are being followed. Family members are being tested. Direct contacts are being contacted by the Department of Health. Again, town government does not do that. We do not administer the tests, and we await those results. But the fact that we were able to break down barriers to share information in a more efficient manner only helps the public. And with that being said, I want to reemphasize basic hygiene over the weekend. Wash those hands, carry that hand sanitizer around. Again, social distancing. And I always emphasize this when I can. Just because we are encouraging social distancing, we are not encouraging isolation. So if you do know someone who is at home by themselves, a senior, someone that we should watch out for, please find a way to contact them via phone, Skype, FaceTime. We have technology all over the place. It's a great tool, and it's a way to engage people to make sure that we're minimizing social depression as a result of social distancing. And with that being said, if there's any more new information that I can share with the town of Yorktown and the public over the weekend, I have all intentions of doing it. Until that time, I wish everyone good health, smart habits, and we will see you around town. Thank you so much.